Hello and welcome to this lecture on narrative point of view in the flood. Now, I would like to recall a couple of aspects of the narrative before we move on to this narrative point of view, which are what is the story, what is the plot, and more importantly, what is a narrative. If we recall the previous session, we know that a story is a set of events. And if we recall the previous session about the plot, we know that it is a sequence of connected events. There is causation and there is sequencing in the events. However, we haven't yet looked at what exactly is a narrative. Now, if we apply this concept of story and plot to in the flood, we will know that in terms of a story, a dog dies in the flood, and in terms of a plot, a dog dies in a flood because human beings refuse to save him. So, this is the story and this is the plot of in the flood. Now, what exactly is a narrative? A narrative includes not just the sequence of events and their cause and effect relationships, but all of the decisions and techniques that impact how a story is told. It is not only about a set of events, it is not only about a set of connected events with causation implied, it is about all the techniques, all the strategies, the strategic effects that a writer employs to weave a narrative and the impact that narrative has on the reader. A narrative is how a given sequence of events is recounted, is retold, is described to the reader. It's almost like a tapestry that is woven by the weaver, right? Now, we need to ask a set of questions about a particular narrative. So, these are some of the most important questions that a reader can ask, such as what are the most important events in the narrative? If we ask this question to the story that we read for this week in the flood, one answer could be the boats. The appearance of the boats are some of the important events in the narrative. It kind of brings in anticipation and it brings in disappointment for the central character of the dog. We can also ask this question, how exactly does this narrative begin and how does it end? If we remember the story, we know that the story begins with Chenan the pariah, but it ends with Chenan as well. But within that span of time of narrative, we have the dog's story as the central story too. So, we need to keep in mind who are all the characters that figure and what are the kind of stories that are woven with these characters as the centerpiece. So, the narrative begins with Chenan, then it moves on to the story of his dog, and then it brings Chenan back into the picture. So, we need to keep all these narrative strands in mind. The other questions that we can ask are the events in the narrative in the order they occurred? So, is it a linear sequence of events, or are there flashbacks or other techniques employed by the writer to present the events in the story? So, is it logical, or are there flashbacks involved, or there are parallel narratives in the story? So, these are the things that we need to keep in mind. So, if we apply these set of ideas in juxtaposition to the story that we read for this week, the answers are pretty interesting. So, we have the narrative of Chenan beginning and almost ending with his escape, and then the narrative picks up the dog's life and it runs with it, and once that is over, Chenan's narratives again picked up and life seems to go on with the floods receding and the people coming back onto the village. So, as I said, it's like a tapestry that's been woven in a neat pattern. Now, I would like to give you an example in terms of the order of events that I talked about just now. So, I asked, is the sequencing logical, linear, or are there flashbacks? So, let us look at a particular example in the flood. So, this is the quotation that I am interested in. It goes like this: Its master was probably eating his dinner. He was probably rolling a bowl of rice for the dog between his fingers, as was his practice at the end of a meal. So, these lines are from the narrator, and he kind of describes what Chenin would probably be doing right now when his dog is caught in the flood waters. So, Chenin would have kept a bit of his share of the food for the dog at this point of the day. So, it's very interesting to see the habitual activity of Chenin being brought in at this particular moment when the dog is all alone, isolated, trapped on a roof and surrounded by flood waters. So, this is not exactly a flashback, but it is kind of a kind of an evocation of a ritual, a habitual practice of Chenin, and it kind of adds to the intensity of the desperation in which the dog is caught in. So, the past and the possible present are kind of conflated in this particular moment, and it kind of is a nice narrative technique that the writer weaves in. So, as I said, this scene could be seen as a kind of a momentary flashback to the practices of the family at a particular moment in the day, especially during nightfall, when the dog is given his share or its share of the meal from the master of the house, which is Chenin. It is a very interesting narrative technique, because it's neither a proper flashback nor a kind of a scene from Chenin's actual present, because Chenin is no longer on the scene once he disappears with his family on a boat and escapes to dry land. The other questions that we can ask of a narrative are, what exactly is the setting, and how does this setting affect the way the narrative is structured? And in this, we can also compare the setting to a stage in a theater, in a performance space. It's very, very important aspect in any story. And in the flood itself is a canvas or a backdrop. It's more than a backdrop, in fact, because it plays a very, very major role in how the narrative is kind of structured. As I said, the setting of the flood in the flood is crucial. It is as if the flood is one significant character, a dominant character in this particular story, because it initiates the action. If you remember, the beginning of the flood makes the story happen, because everybody is trapped and they want to escape that situation. So, the narrative ball is set rolling with this scene of flooding, and it also complicates the plot, as I said, because it creates a crisis from which the characters have to escape to continue sustaining their lives and to continue sustaining the narrative itself. So, there is a close connection between narrative life and the life of the characters who are trapped in a critical situation, which is the flood here. And again, very interestingly, the setting itself sort of resolves the narrative in a very tragic manner, but it does resolve it. If we remember the story, if we go back to the story, we can recall that the dog, in order to sustain its life, does this foolish thing of grabbing onto a carcass. It's foolish, but it's desperate, and perhaps it has no other choice. So, it grabs onto this carcass, but there is instability in that movement, and it goes into the water along with the carcass, and its life ends pretty tragically. And that in itself is a sort of a resolution, a narrative resolution to the dog that has been trapped with nobody to rescue it from that particular point in the narrative. So, the flood as a setting is very, very important, something that we need to bear in mind. The other questions that we can ask of this narrative are, what is the point of view used to tell the narrative, and are certain pieces of information held back from the reader? I'll deal with the second question first, and then I'll go back to the first point. the answer to the second question is yes, certain pieces of information are held back from the reader in the case of In the Flood. For instance, we do not know Chennon's thoughts once he comes back into the story at the final stages. Once he comes back, we don't know what exactly he thinks about the loss of his dog's life. We can contrast this suppression of information to the earlier moment in the story when we know what Chennon has been thinking in terms of his entrapment, in terms of his family's entrapment in the flood. So the narrator chooses not to reveal certain pieces of Chennon's emotional trajectory at the end of the story for reasons of his or her own. Now, let me go back to the earlier question of what exactly is the point of view used to tell a narrative. In the case of Pillai's In the Flood, in the case of this story, it is the third person point of view, and it's a very interesting choice, and the writer plays around with this particular mode of narrating the story, which has interesting and significant implications as to how we understand and respond to the story. Now, a point of view is more or less the perspective through which we kind of get the story from the narrator. So, it's a particular perspective through which situations and events are narrated, described, given to the reader. And we can call this narrator as a narrating agent as well, as somebody who has the central intelligence, central information about the things that happen in the story world. So, this narrating agent's vision is what we have or what we get as we read the story on the page. And we can also call this as the focalization, the focal point through which information is filtered and offered to the reader, through which information are offered as a slant, as a particular point of view, as a particular perspective, which the reader will buy or not buy and evaluate and respond emotionally and intelligibly. So, perspective is a crucial narrative feature that we need to understand in order to kind of understand our emotional and cognitive reactions to the story. So, we'll understand more about the characteristics of a narrator in terms of the narration. So, he is a person who sees the story and we see what he or she is saying. We also understand the information through that narrator's vision. So, the kind of information that he or she offers is what we get, and the quantity that he or she offers is what we get or receive from the story as well. So, what is seen is important, but we also need to understand is that we are seeing the third person point of view in the story, and how much is seen is also controlled by the narrator as well. So, certain suppression of events can be deliberate, and this can have certain consequences for the story's narrative structure and ideological structure as well. So, what is seen has implications for the meaning that we take away from this particular narrative point of view. So, the narrator decides whether the reader should have more information or less information, or the kind of information, as I said, and the narrator has the authority to emphasize certain information over others. And if we recall In the Flood, we can see that certain details are repeated to create certain effects. For instance, the jumping of the frogs into the flood is recurrent, and the floating of carcasses are recurrent, and the appearance of boats are recurrent. So, these recurrences might have some symbolic, deeper meaning for the philosophy of the story, for the larger understanding of the story, and these are emphasized, as I said. And the information can be communicated in various ways. They can be communicated explicitly, very overtly, very directly. They can be communicated objectively without the narrator's personal spin on it, or it can be communicated in an approving manner, a manner in which the narrator legitimizes the information, approves the information, endorses the information. So there are multiple ways in which information is presented to the reader, and the reader has to be careful enough to understand what exactly is going on in terms of the information that the reader receives, so that he can process it in a rational manner and respond adequately, correctly, and appropriately. And we also need to think about the tone in which the information is offered, the narrative is offered for the reader's benefit. The reader can be also referred to as a narrative, a narratee, the person who kind of is the listener to whom the story is told. The tone can be either formal or informal, depending on the context of the story and the context of the narrative viewpoint. The tone can be respectful, respectful of the reader, or it can be scornful of the reader as well. So these tones can be detected through a very close reading of the language in which the story is woven. The tone can be pleading as well. It can ask for the empathy of the reader, the sympathy of the reader. It might ask for a kinder understanding of the events that unfold in the narrative. So these are some of the tones that are implied in the narrative viewpoint. Let's come to the narrator of In the Flood. This figure is quite knowledgeable. He or she has a bird's eye view of the story. If we remember the starting point of the story, the starting point talks about the temple on a high ground. So if we kind of understand this perspective, we can also understand that the narrator has a bird's eye view, a complete understanding of the landscape of the story world. And this narrator also has a good understanding of the circumstances of Chenin, his neighbors, as well as Chenin's dog. So he or she is we can almost call that narrator as an omniscient narrator, one who knows everything, one who sees everything. But does it mean that he or she gives you almost every detail? That is a moot question, that's debatable. So as I said, this narrator has a bird's eye view. He has an idea of the high points, the high ground on the landscape, and this narrator also has a in-depth understanding of Chenin's thoughts, especially at the beginning, because we know that she communicates the thoughts of Chenin. And the dog's state is also very well understood by the narrator, because the narrator interprets the thoughts of the dog for us. Let me give you some examples in that context. The temple, this is a quotation from the beginning of the story. The temple stood on a rise, the highest ground for miles around. That statement tells you that the narrator knows the landscape of the region. She has the authority to mention that this is the highest ground for miles in that particular region. And the narrator states that despite this, its deity was submerged in water up to its neck. So not only does the narrator have a bird's eye view, he also knows the intricate details, the inner details, a comprehension of the interiors of not only the built environment, but also interior spaces of the being's mind that he or she describes. So despite this, the deity was submerged in water up to its neck. There was water everywhere you looked, and look at the way he kind of invites the reader into the narrative by this reference to you. Even if you look at this world, you will know that it's flooded everywhere. And look at the next statement on the screen. Most of the locals had fled their homes and made their way to dry land. So not only is he aware of the temple's situation, but the narrator is also aware of the locals who had fled their homes, and they are all safe on dry ground. These lines of text establish the authority of the narrator, who has a good understanding of the world that is being described. Now, he also understands the emotional life of the family of Chenin, which is clear from the first line on the slide for you. The family spent 2 days in the primitive loft, hoping the flood waters would recede soon. So, the hopes of the family is also understood by the narrator and communicated for the reader's benefit. The word hope gives you that indication. And the concerns of the head of the family, Chenin, is also understood by the narrator. He is aware of the hopes and desires and anticipations of Chenin as well. So, this line gives you that information for us. Chenin was concerned that if they left the hut, his 5 banana trees that were heavy with fruit and his hay rick would be stolen. So, the motivations for Chenin to stay on in this flooded home is also made clear through the narrator's information. Now, we also have indication from the text that the narrator has a very good understanding of the emotional compass of this dog, and he interprets that very, very interestingly for the reader. And this is an incident with the boat. If you remember the story, we have 3 boats on the scene in relation to the dog's situation. One of them doesn't even notice the dog. The second one notices the dog, but the occupants in the boat fail to give heed to the cries of the dog, and they move away. And this is the scene that the text describes. The boat began to move away from the house. The dog howled. It was heartrending. One of the men looked back, and this ayo, the sound is very human-like. The sound wasn't from either of the men, but the dog. It's repeated again, that sound, almost human-like cry. It was almost as if the animal was bidding goodbye to the world. So, if you look at these statements, it was heartrending, it was almost as if these are interpretations of the emotional landscape of the dog. So, this narrator, as I said, is extremely aware of not only the external environment, but also the internal environment of the psychology of the characters that the narrator is interested in, from Chenin to his dog. So, we can say very safely that this narrator is an omniscient narrator, but he chooses to record a set of events, a particular set of events and a particular set of characters. He doesn't capture the emotional landscape of all the characters that is referred to in the story. We don't have information as to what this person who is reciting the Ramayana is thinking about, but we have a selective record of the ideas and events that goes around a particular number of characters who play a major role. So, this narrator stays with Chenin in the beginning, and then he moves on to his dog, and finally he comes back to Chenin when Chenin is returned to the narrative to check about his dog that he had left behind. I can also call this narrator an intrusive narrator in some respects, because we can clearly see from some of the examples that I have shown you that he wants to evoke a particular emotion from the reader through the dire circumstances of the dog, especially from the previous scene. I have picked those lines again for you so that we understand that we are being moved, kind of hinted, we are kind of moved to sympathize with the dog. The word heart-rending, it's a very, very emotionally loaded word, and the narrator uses that to kind of bring out the sympathy from the reader. And again, this line, it was almost as if the animal was bidding goodbye to the world. It's very human-like, the way the dog perceives the world around him. It's as if a human being is bidding goodbye, not an animal that is bidding goodbye. So, these words are very carefully interpreted in the story on the part of the narrator to manipulate, not negatively but positively, because empathy and sympathy are involved. So, we need to see this as a positive manipulation, but it is a manipulation all right, in order to make us see the world in a particular way, in a slanted way. So, we can also, if considering these set of circumstances, we can also say that this is selective omniscience that we have in terms of the narrative viewpoint. I am saying selective primarily because there is no consistent pattern in terms of revealing the inner thoughts of Chenin. At the beginning, we know what he thinks. He even thinks that within 12 hours the whole family is going to get drowned unless somebody comes to rescue him. So, all these thought patterns which are available in terms of Chenin is suppressed towards the end of the story, and we should ask this question: why? Why is the suppression of information, emotional information happening in the case of Chenin at the finale of the story? Because there's something going on there with implications for manipulation, as I said, manipulation of the reader in terms of understanding the events that happen within the story world. Okay, so generally, how are we to look at this notion of point of view? What is the function of point of view? So, I am going to talk about it in terms of third person, but I am not going to say that the interpretations that I have are not applicable to other points of view. Say they may be applicable, but I am going to focus now on the third person point of view. So, this particular point of view offers you an understanding of things as they happen, and the processes that are involved in understanding the unfolding of events. So, you apply your mind, you apply your logic, your reasoning, and you know the process that is behind the scenes in a story. And such an understanding will obviously have an impact on the emotional processes that are never far behind, and so this cognitive understanding of the story also has an effect in terms of the emotional landscape that is taken from the story world. And this point of view kind of directs us very subtly to interpret this world in a particular way. As I said, this intrusive omniscient narration guides us to respond to the story in specific ways than in other ways, in ways that the writer wants us to respond. He does want to instill an immense sense of empathy for this dog that's in distress, in isolation for most of the time, and he does manage to do that. Let's come to the final statement in the flood. The final statement is very interesting in terms of point of view. You couldn't even tell what color the dog was. You couldn't even tell. He doesn't say Chenin couldn't even tell. He brings in the reader at this point in the story. So, the reader is pulled into the inner story. He says that the color was totally gone, for its skin had rotted and sloughed away. So, as I said, this use of the word you, the second person evocation, is cleverly done to again bring out the empathy, to make us be part of this tragedy that has gone on in front of the reader's eyes in a more overt way. So, there is an invitation there to participate, to respond in a visceral manner. Let's go back to this word cognition. I want you to completely understand what exactly the word cognition means, which is why I've put the definition from OED on the screen for you here. So, cognition means the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. So, this third person point of view helps you do that. If you closely follow the action of the story from a larger perspective, in a near objective perspective, you will kind of understand the way you acquire knowledge. You will know what the factors are, and through those understanding of the factors, you will form your own thoughts, you will form your own experiences, and your senses will automatically respond to the events that unfold within this universe. So, cognition is about perception, understanding, it's about sensation, it's about the formation of ideas, and inevitably when a rational part of your mind is working, it also affects the emotional part of your brain too, and intuitions also start to work there. So, all these result from the process of cognition. It's an idea that we need to bear in mind. So, to go back to that final statement in the flood, the conclusion is very, very interesting because the reader is made a part of the story. So, just as the narrator is witnessing this corpse of a dog, we have the reader, a representative of the entire reading community on the scene looking at the corpse of the dog, and at this point the dog loses its particularity. It's no longer Chennan's dog. It could be any dog. It becomes a representative of this entire species of the dog. And again, the dog itself, as we know, is a very, very powerful symbol, a common symbol, and this symbol is devoid of any shape or color or even of this species association. So it becomes a symbol for all the weak in the world, all the innocent in the world, and all the loyal in the world who need the protection of the powerful, and in this case the powerful mean the human beings who have this power to offer succor, salvation and rescue to the needy. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you for listening.